WesWorld, Avatar 7 Havens, huge update. Let's get into it. As you know, we've been tracking this show immensely because we are very adamant Avatar lovers over here. You know, not the physical kind, just like the emotional one. Let's get into it.
If you've been craving the next chapter in the Avatar universe, we finally have some brand new details. Avatar 7 Havens is the next big animated series from the world of the Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra. And just recently, we were given our first official look at 7 Havens. This new series follows a young earthbender named Pavi, her long-lost twin sister Nisha. Well, Pavi discovers that she is the new Avatar after Korra, but the twist is the world she inherits is completely shattered. A cataclysm has...
That's not the twist. That's usually how it goes, isn't it? I feel like Korra got that. I feel like Aang got that. I feel like that's just... I feel like every Avatar leaves you with a handful of S-word to deal with.
Torn both the physical and spirit realms apart. And the next Avatar isn't seen as a hero anymore. In fact, some people think the Avatar is to blame.
That is crazy, though. I will say that.
So for those of you that don't know, Avatar 7 Havens will be a 2D animated series that is split into 2 seasons, with book 1 and book 2. Both books will be...
Only 2 books? We're not even gonna get like a fire. Okay, whatever.
13 episodes each, making it a full 26 episode story. And while it still lives in the same universe we know and love, this is shaping up to be a very different kind of Avatar story. One where the Avatar will have to earn the trust of the world that once admired them. So let's talk about what we've actually seen. Recently at San Diego Comic-Con during the 20th anniversary panel for The Last Airbender, we got our first piece of official artwork for 7 Havens.
I'm not gonna lie, the paraplegic threw me off at the beginning. It's just not what I was expecting. I think it could be hard. Somebody said, yo, they could give her like an earth foot or like a lava foot, and I think that would be hard. Like, as she uses her bending, like some type of constant bending to always give her, like, you know what I'm saying? Something like, not necessarily a leg. Kind of like, what was it? Was her name Kavir? Who was the girl waterbender on Zahir's side? You know how she didn't have any arms, but she used the water bending as her arms? If they did something like that for the Avatar, that would actually be kind of cool.
And boy, oh boy, did it immediately set the tone. The image shows our new Avatar Pavi walking through a rocky desert landscape.
If this is supposed to be Bossing Say, it's cheeks.
Spouting from the ground in front of her, with a desert city in the distance and spirit lights illuminating the sky. Now, right next to Pavi is her animal companion named Jeet. Jeet kind of looks like a mix.
Not my favorite animal companion. I'll go to say I kind of like Nala even more than that, but you know, maybe she's like cool in the show. I think I like Nala more than I like Jeet, but I could be hating.
Between like a bigger house cat, almost like a domesticated cat, mixed with something like almost the size of a lion. But behind them both is an airbender named Jay, and we're not quite sure if Jay is a close friend or a mentor to Pavi, but they look to be on the same journey together, likely looking for her long lost sister. And the background of the city is named Aurora, apparently, which that seems like it's one of the 7 havens in which they talk about, which are basically like the last remaining strongholds of civilization after the mysterious disaster. One thing that we do have to point out is the spirit lights that hang above in the sky. These are typically only found in the northern and southern poles of this universe. So to see them in a desert setting begs the question that needs to be answered.
That's funny,
we know that there was a giant cataclysm.
It's giving Genshin Impact. You're actually very right, Tyler. I was trying to think about why this style kind of like seems so similar. I'm not necessarily jacking the art style, but I understand that it being animated versus it being still is vastly different. So I'm not really hating on the art style yet, but yeah, it kind of does give Genshin. I'll say it's kind of leading to anime type of shading too, like shell shading.
That happened, and it basically left the world shattered, with only 7 havens that are like inhabitable that actually have civilization. So it tells me that like everything outside of those 7 havens is overrun by spirits. So now let's dive into the characters that we've been introduced to. Pavi is our new avatar. She is one of 2 twin avatars, and unlike Aang or Korra, she's stepping into the world where the avatar is entrusted. The cataclysm that tore the world apart seems to have some kind of reflection on Korra's legacy as the avatar. So whatever Korra did in the past definitely kind of made things a little bad. I mean, heck, there's only 7 havens that are still habitable, so yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. No avatar only left 7 places that are inhabitable. I think that's a little bit crazy. Aang literally created a more habitable area to just get people back to being able to airbend. You get what I'm saying? Roku literally created a foundation to where he tried to end the war, you know what I'm saying, before it started, but you know, it did start the war. But even he didn't leave it uninhabitable for every person. It was just uninhabitable for the airbenders. Only leaving 7 places on the entire earth that are habitable. I'm not gonna lie, Korra, I be cutting for you a lot. I fuck with you, Korra, heavily. That's bad. That's bad right there.
But with that being said, it does put Pavi's identity as the Avatar in a really tough position. She's being hunted by both human factions and angry spirits who view her as a threat instead of a savior. From the picture, Pavi has a wooden peg leg, so there's going to be some backstory that we get there, whether or not this was from like an earthbending accident while growing up, or if it was like a defect that came from birth.
What's the cycle of it? Goes air, water, she's earth, so she's earth, and then the next one's fire.
Either way, they're going to tell a story with this, and I'm really curious to see what actually happened. My guess is, since she is hunted, I would assume that like her mentor is like, you know, her protector almost, and they both experience like her losing her leg in the past.
Nah, that's too gruesome. I don't think she lost her leg like that. That sounds crazy.
Now joining her is Jeet, like I said, who is her animal companion. Now, so far, we don't know the name of the species, but it does look like a big house cat. Honestly, this show wouldn't be an Avatar without a weird, lovable creature. Now, whether or not Jeet can live up to Appa and Momo, I doubt that's going to happen. But
I really think them trying to make a companion live up to Appa and Momo is exactly why it's not. So I don't even want them to try to make it that. I just feel like Jeet has to bring something entirely different. It won't be Appa. It won't be Momo. I almost say don't even ride that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do something different, because Appa and Momo are so one-of-one companions.
Jeet could be pretty awesome. I can't wait to see what this character is going to be like. And then there is Jay, who is allegedly
hit a backflip per ad. You want me to die?
Airbender, who's either Pavi's mentor or maybe just like a close friend who joins in on her quest. Now, the showrunners didn't really confirm or like reveal any of the details regarding Jay, or really the rest of the characters for that matter. I'm curious to see what their dynamic is going to be like, but they both clearly have a history. Perhaps Pavi has some struggles with airbending, and that's why Jay is like going along with her to like help her airbend. I mean, she does have a peg leg, so that might be one of the flaws.
Oh yeah, because the nation that you're born into, your direct opposite is the hardest for you to learn. So she's an earthbender. It's going to be extremely hard for her to learn airbending, the way that Aang had an extremely difficult time learning earthbending. That's right. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, even though like with Avatar The Last Airbender, there was Tio that had the gliders, so I'm sure that, you know, she's able to do some things, especially if you have like this dude who is a paraplegic, and he took to the skies like a literal airbender as well, so I'm sure Pavi shouldn't have much of an issue. So yeah, we're not really sure who Jay is, or like if he's a close friend or mentor, but they look like they're going to be on a journey together. Maybe he'll be acting like, you know, comic relief. I'm also really curious to see who they're going to pick to, you know, voice act Jay. If it's my choice, I want either Dante Bosco or Jack DeSena to voice Jay, but, you know, it's hard to say who they plan to do. It might be just an entirely new cast. But I do still think they should have like...
I think somebody told me that they already confirmed that Zuko, or the voice of Zuko, is not going to be the same person. I don't know who told me that though.
All the OGs in the show. Here's an idea. What if they have like Zach Tyler Eisen, who played Aang in the original series? Now that he's a bit older, he might be able to do a good Jay. Who knows? One thing is for certain, Jay and Pavi should have a pretty good synergy. Having two airbenders of different elements, or the same elements, since, you know, Pavi is the Avatar. It should make for some awesome fight sequences. So here's to hoping both of them can showcase some incredible teamwork. And then the last major character we've heard about but haven't seen yet. Which, I mean, we kind of seen her from all of the leaks in the past.
Talk to me.
That's Nisha. Nisha is Pavi's long lost sister, who happens to be her twin as well.
Is she also an earthbender, or is she her twin? Nah, she has on earthbending clothes and her eyes are green. Okay.
And finding her is a big part of the overall narrative. The story revolves around...
I'm not gonna lie though, if we could get some fusion dance stuff going on. Look, I know. Two different universes. I completely hear you. Two things could either happen. If we could have a fight scene, imagine Zuko and Azula Agony Kai, but instead of them being against each other, they're with each other and they're attacking something. If we could have a side-by-side Avatar state where, like, you know when like Aang and the gang were walking down Boston Say? Let me see if I can find it. Right there, I'm not gonna lie. That would be fire. So if they do that, I'm fine with it. If they don't do that, they wasted it.
Pavi uncovering the truth about her origins, while trying to hold a collapsing world together.
Facts,
We've
King.
heard this for a long time, but the reports and everything is that she's also an avatar, but she's almost like an evil twin. So perhaps book 1 will be all about Pavi, and then book 2 will be about Nisha's, growth,
I hope
as well as
not.
details about how there is like 2 avatars. Okay, next up, let's talk about art style for a second, because this screenshot looks absolutely gorgeous. It is a departure from both The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra, but you can tell that the team is aiming for something that does feel fresh, but is still familiar.
Yeah.
The desert landscape and the artwork is jagged.
I don't really mess with the backgrounds like that. I love how she looks. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a big fan about how the cat looks, and I love how he looks. So I like the characters. I don't like the background. I don't know if I like this yet.
And lonely, but the city in the background, Aurora, has this really sleek and almost spiritual vibe to it. It feels ancient, but also futuristic at the same time. Now, there are also glowing spirit lights in the sky, reminiscent of the Aurora Borealis, but on top of that, the architecture looks almost like alien, like so foreign that it looks alien.
That'd be so cool, real Jex.
Or gives us so much mystery that it's like I've got so many questions in my head. But visually, Pavi and Jay's design strikes a really nice balance. It looks like these 2 characters are almost a part of like the same haven, because if you look at the outfits, they look very similar. I also think the outfits look pretty vibrant. They're not like overly flashy either. The thing that I get from this entire image is like it shows that she's in the spotlight, but not so much as a symbol of hope. She's like walking through a world that's unsure if it even wants an avatar anymore.
Right.
So like her having to tackle that, as well as the fact that she also has a twin sister that might not be like the most, friendly. It's going to be pretty interesting, especially if there's like spirit implications with these 2 characters, with Pavi being derived from, Rava, and then Nisha being derived from Vatu. Obviously Vatu being the evil one, and you got, Nisha, who's the evil one as well. Yeah, needless to say, I can't wait to learn more. Now, during the Avatar Comic-Con panel, the creators Brian Konietzko and Michael DiMartino shared some interesting insight into the direction of Seven Havens.
Like what?
According to Brian Konietzko, he said this: "It's something totally different. We like to change up the style. We like to make each project its own thing. And as you can see, it still feels like Avatar, but the world is very different.
Right.
You'll have to tune in and find out why." They also confirmed that the series will deal with a lot of heavy themes: the collapse of the civilization, the role of the Avatar in a broken world, and the lines between good and evil.
I'm fine with
Seven
that.
Havens leans deeper into the fallout of everything.
When is the Draco going to be introduced in the Avatar universe? There probably will be an Avatar gun somehow. Same way Demon Slayer managed to put a blick in their universe. I don't put it past Avatar to not do so.
Happened in Korra's time, and pushing the franchise into darker and more uncertain territories. So another thing that I want to know is, will we see anything new when it comes to bending? That's the big question that we all want to know. But with the world and spirit realms both in total chaos, it's really not hard to think about like the strange evolutions to bending. I mean, think about it. After Korra, the spirit world was wide open. For instance, like what if spirit energy starts interfering with regular bending, or people start developing like new hybrid styles, kind of like metal bending and blood bending, but even more extreme? And if the Avatar is seen as a threat, which that's what they're saying, what happens when Pavi tries to tap into her past life? Obviously, Korra separated the connection to the past avatars, but she almost created a new one. So maybe Pavi can only tap into Korra's avatar, not having direct access to the previous avatars in the lineage like her other predecessors had. There's so many doors that this opens.
Every time somebody mentions that, I forget that I've tried my absolute hardest to bury that memory. I try my absolute hardest to bury the fact that Korra does that. I hope they retcon it. I just hope that they just take that out, bro. Just be like, you know what? Actually, every avatar didn't die. They just got put into a coma, and now you got to go get them out or something. Oh my gosh, I hate hearing that so much, bro.
Perhaps there's going to be new techniques, new philosophies. It's obviously...
You saying Korra mid because she a homie hopper? Asami literally been with every single person in the group. Asami literally started off talking to Bolin. He got her out of the crowd. Then after that, she legitimately started dating Mako. And then at the end of the show, she quite literally got with Korra. I don't think Korra the homie hopper here. I'm not gonna lie.
Still early, but could we see the biggest bending shift since Toph invented metal bending? All right, so now for the not so fun part, the part that I'm the most concerned about, and that is the future of Avatar Studios. As of now, Paramount, the parent company behind Nickelodeon and Avatar Studios, is in the middle of merging with Skydance Media. Okay. So that might sound like some boring business stuff, but trust me, it does matter. These kind of corporate shakeups often come with major changes, budget cuts, leadership changes, projects get paused, delayed, or even get canceled. And while Avatar is a beloved franchise, it's still a part of the animation category, which doesn't always get the same level of protection as big live action projects. The merger is on the final stages of being approved, but there is a possibility that this could impact the production timelines, staffing, or even how much marketing Seven Havens gets when it finally launches. The show is safe for now, but anything beyond that is a bit of a question mark at this point. Even The Legend of Aang could face corporate issues depending on how the merger plays out. So while this looks good for now, things could change pretty rapidly. I hope it doesn't, but there is a possibility that things do change.
Right.
So when is Avatar 7 Havens coming out? No official release date obviously was announced, but here's what we know so far. The project is still in production. We've only seen one official piece of artwork. The Legend of Aang movie is coming out in October 2026, which that makes the 2027 release window the most likely scenario.
Oh,
Avatar
the Legend of
Studios
Aang
wants the
movie, that's right.
movie to take the spotlight in 2026 and then use that momentum to roll out Seven Havens the following year. It also gives them time to fully polish out both books and make a strong debut for their first TV series under the new studio. So yeah, I would pencil in sometime in
The thing is, I'm not a cynic, bro. I just really like Avatar, bro. And I just don't want to see no more medium. Korra wasn't bad. I actually don't think Korra was bad as a franchise, as a show. It's just, I want to see some stuff that get the people talking, that get the people going. Drop Avatar solo leveling on them, bro. Be right back up in the charts, bro. Make Avatar a manhwa. How do you say it? Manhwa? Manhwa? Moa? I don't. There goes my career. And I feel like that's when it'll be back at the top of the charts, and then it'll be amazing as a series, bro. But this has potential, though. I'm not even hating. I just want it to be great. That's why I'm critical of it. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure that you like, comment twice. It helps me in the algo. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.